everyone. Welcome to Connections for Life. I'm Ted Pete.
I'm Chad Kuvo.
I'm the guy that's mad at the Cowboys because I lost my bat.
So you're just
right. Cowboys? Chad, why is your background like that?
Well, a couple reasons.
Torment you.
I couldn't get my snap camera to work correctly this morning. I would have had to shut down the entire computer, restart it, and that wasn't happening. And
that would have costed you a week of work.
True. And I essentially did not watch any football yesterday, except for maybe a little bit that was just on in the background. But I do know that the Cowboys lost, and I also know that Ted's a huge Cowboy fan. So I thought it was fun.
Do you ever watch any football?
No, I don't really even watch hockey. I mean, I don't watch.
You made it sound like I didn't watch any football this week. Like I was.
Oh no, I never watch football. I don't even know who plays for the
I was building a deck I couldn't watch. Yeah, you were just watching like the 5th season of the series. I don't know.
Lost.
I don't know what you watched.
He was watching the 5th series of Lost.
The smoke monster got me.
Got him. So how was your weekend, Joe?
What day is today?
It was good. What day is today? Monday. Martin Luther King. Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Very nice.
Everybody else is off school. Thank goodness, though. We had a big storm this week or last night, today. So everybody's off of school. That worked out. Guess they must have talked. But it was good. Kids had a bunch of games, softball practices. It was good. I think Saturday I spent from 8:30 till 3:30 doing something of sports nature with the girls, but a couple of soccer games. Kids played okay. Macy played pretty well. Lila was kind of dumpster fire this week. She just wasn't into it. She didn't want to be there. We got there early because her sister had a game and she lost all momentum. She just wanted to eat chips and hang out. So didn't work out well for us that way. I told you guys earlier, I'm going to say it again. I cleaned my oven, which sounds like not a big deal, but it's like immaculate. I'm so excited about it. You have no idea. I literally walk by and open it up just to look at it. I'm like, yeah, it looks so good.
Simple things in life.
What did you do? I mean, here's Joe's oven, Joe's cleaning section. Did you do something special to it, or did you just turn on the self cleaner? I understand you cleaned it out some too, but if you didn't run the self cleaner, would it be as clean?
No, not at all. So what I did was I took a scraper and I scraped off all the loose junk and then I vacuumed it out, right? And then I took oven cleaner and sprayed it in there and I let it sit for 2 hours. And then I took a Brillo pad and I scrubbed the whole inside of it and then I wiped all that out. And then I closed it and turned on the auto clean.
And now you're never going to use it again.
Never again. It's never. Everything's getting microwaved from here on out. Yeah,
Joe's kids will.
They don't know how to cook anything. If it wasn't for me, they would just.
It didn't even have anything to do with Joe's kids. He's the one that dirtied the microwave in the first place.
No, what I'm saying is Joe's kids are going to be open his oven one day and be like, Dad never used this.
Yeah. No, they don't. I'll use it. It's just been such a long time. I forgot how clean it could be. You know what I mean? I guess that was it. Listen, you guys know how you have something a long time and you clean it and you have this expectation that when you clean it, it's going to go back to what it looked like. And you're like, and it never does. And you're like, whatever. It's valiant effort. This actually literally did. It looks brand new inside. I'm pretty happy with it. All right. Enough about the oven. What about you guys?
Chadwick?
Teddy had a bad weekend.
Yeah, you did not have a great one. I cleaned my fridge.
Nice. No, you didn't. I would never believe that. Never.
No chance.
Not ever.
What do you think I did? I went to basketball, and watched hockey. It's about what it
standard weekend
boiled down to. I mean, Zoe they're trying to pack in some basketball games. So she had one on Friday night, then she had one on Saturday. Logan's in Lake Placid.
Ugh.
Good luck at home.
So much
minus 17 too there.
Is it that cold?
It was minus 17 on Friday.
Yeah, the high here on was it Saturday? The high here Saturday was 7.
Oh, we didn't get there. We had 1 degree on Saturday.
That was the actual temperature. With wind chill, it was absolutely ridiculous.
I think the global warming would take care of it. My gosh.
I got in the car in the morning and I went to turn the shifter knob in my truck and it was I was like, oh God, I'm gonna snap this thing right off.
Have you ever used the automatic starter on a real cold day like that? And it's like, I don't want to.
I don't have one.
I don't either. I'm
My
not.
automatic starters, I run out there, jump in with my shorts on, press the button, and run back inside and
Same.
hope it starts.
Same.
Wow.
I don't
Okay.
even push the button. I got to turn the key.
Uh,
I got it to the point where I have to put my hand, like I lean into the truck, put my hand on the brake pedal, and then turn the key just so I can actually get in the car.
oh, that's great.
Teddy,
No, it's not.
you had a pretty crazy weekend, huh?
Oh, well, honestly, it was like a mixture of like really highs and really lows. So Friday night, we got a date night. My wife and I went with some friends and we went to see T.I. in concert.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was awesome. You know, we went up to Del Lago and we
You're
saw,
40 years old, man.
yeah.
Were you like
So-
the oldest person there?
No,
T.I. is our
everybody was
age.
that the age.
I have
Everybody-
no idea who this person is, by the way. just
Yeah,
so you
no.
know.
So T.I. was like a rapper in the early 2000s, like when
Yeah.
we were in
Oh.
our 20s. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Didn't he become a model too? Of
No, he's an
sort?
actor.
Yeah,
He's
an
an
actor.
actor. So he was
I
in
gotta look
Ant-Man. But we went. We
Which
went
one
to-
was he?
What?
Was
He
he
drove
Boss
some.
Man?
He was like the driver guy in Ant-Man. Anyway, T.I. He's done a lot of movies. He's done movie Takers. He's done ATL.
All right, enough about T.I. Let's move on.
Anyway,
About your
so we went to a
Sorry,
great
that was my
concert. We got a
fault.
date night out. It was awesome. We spent the night up there at the at the casino, had some fun.
Got
And then
Omicron.
Saturday, our my son went to a Brooklyn Nets game with his high school team. And they had a chartered bus down, and on the chartered bus ride on the way home, the driver fell asleep, and the bus got into a pretty bad crash.
No
And
one died.
no deaths. We were very, very lucky. God was looking over that group of kids. One of the assistant coaches actually was a real hero. Brad Bellinger, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and the other 22 souls.
Because
on
he
the
watches
start.
this show.
If
Hey,
he
Brad.
does it, if he does, man, yeah. But
Fist bump.
yeah, we
It's
were very,
crazy.
very lucky, and I was able to, when we picked up my son and we got him home, I was able to see him sleeping in his bed. He's 15 years old. That was a pretty awesome special moment because that was.
So he's never leaving the house again, right? That's kind of where you're at.
If Eileen had her way, yeah, I don't think he's.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah,
You'd be
he's not
chaining
allowed
your
to, like-
bedpost until you're 30. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, Dad, I'm gonna walk down to the store. No, you're not. Mom's going with
Yeah.
you, holding your hand.
Right.
So
Yeah. Lila had ski club last Thursday, and like she had to get on the bus and take it over there. I was like a wreck the entire time. Like I don't know why. I can't. I would have
Until
been
he drive, man. Wait until he drive.
I don't want her to wait. I know. Lila.
Well, Nick's literally already like practicing.
Oh,
for
Zoe
his-
does too.
Yeah, yeah.
Logan, it's
Yeah.
the first time I let him drive to school back to school by himself.
I ain't gonna lie to you, it'd be
He got a
pretty sweet.
ticket that day.
It would be
You
pretty
gotta do
sweet
that.
to have somebody drive my other two around though. I don't lie.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good.
Anyways,
So-
and then you got smoked. Your Cowboys got
And
smoked.
then you had to bring that up. I was going to try to conveniently get out of that portion of the
I
show
had to
today.
bring it up. Look at Chad's background.
I know. I blame both of you for pushing the misery button on me.
Anyways, enough about our weekends.
Yeah.
I lost my rear end on every bet. Every bet I placed this weekend, I lost. So don't follow me for Joe's betting corner. We're not going to be bringing that to the show. Actually, we should. Everything I vote against.
But that's a great transition into the next part of our show, which is typically some of our guests'
Hey,
favorite.
did you see this, guys? I got my coffee with Jim and James mug out today.
Joe's
Let's keep it going.
idiom.
I don't even know what you guys ever heard the term "jump the shark"?
Of course, I know where it's from too. It's gonna be fun.
I jumped the
I
shark.
think. I'm pretty sure I know. Yeah, jump the shark. Like when a show jumps the shark. Like
It means when the show is in the decline and it's not like including like gimmicky stuff to keep people interested. The
I
show's
have
like
never once in my life ever heard the term jump.
But you also
that's
didn't.
cool.
You also didn't know who the
Right.
yeah,
I'm going to
Right.
mute you. I'm going
thing.
to mute you.
Darn it.
Jack the
Oh,
Ripper.
Yes, thank you.
I knew enough out of you.
Did you say
two.
Fig Newton? What'd you say?
Newtons.
I knew who Jack
Oh,
the
you said
Ripper was. I
knew
just
who.
didn't know the story of it. I know the name. I've heard it.
Don't try to backtrack now. It's on record, man. We
I'm
have a
gonna-
video of you looking
And
like
a week later.
you look like a dog when you hear that
So
sound.
you, Teddy, you've never heard of jump the shark?
Never.
I think I can answer it.
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
do it
that
then.
wasn't
Like the most
that wasn't
exciting.
That wasn't the one.
That wasn't the one.
No, just kidding. Chad, go ahead if you think
it's from Happy Days when Fonz jumped the shark. Literally in one of the episodes, it was so gimmicky. He literally like jumped the shark, and that's when they say that the series went downhill.
Yeah, they say jumped the shark on his motorcycle.
Yeah, it was something weird. I forget.
Yeah, actually, it was while he was water skiing, but
see, that's even worse. The fact that Fonz was water skiing,
right? But radio
wearing a leather jacket while
absolutely. And
I have no background facts.
Yeah.
So radio personality. So Chad is correct. I won't even ask you, Teddy, because he got it right, and you don't even know what it means. I would have been awesome to let you go first, Chad, if you didn't see what you came up with. In the show Happy Days, the character Fonzie literally jumps over a shark while water skiing. Afterwards, radio personality John Hine popularized the phrase "jump the shark" to describe the decline of that show. So when you see a show just that's kind of at the tail end losing ideas, it's called Jumping the Shark, based on.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Arthur Fonzarelli.
I like it.
What was his real name? Winkler. Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
Who had like a career resurgence due to Adam Sandler.
I don't know why I knew that though. It might have been on.
You know what? I knew it too. I knew it was from Happy Days. I didn't know like.
It might have been on Howard Stern or something where he got interviewed because he like a long time ago. I heard it. I'm glad I knew it. Yes.
You
Jump.
You got one. You're 1 for 40. Like the Cowboys in playoffs.
Nice. All right. Well, now it's time for the
Ted's gas fact. It's Teddy's gas fact, right?
You guys have to do your gas.
No. Mine's not this week.
His is going to be next week.
I have a bye week.
All right. Now mine is. I think it's really cool. I'll probably get berated by the two of you guys.
Oh,
all right. But
wait a minute. Before you get started, I'm almost willing to bet, Chad. What do you want to bet that we've already done this one?
It's got to be pretty. I mean, we've done 80 or 7 since we interviewed like.
No, it's been over. It's been over that because of the whole shows.
Here's the thing: whatever he says is going to be new to me.
Fair enough. Go ahead. Hey, sorry.
It is going to be new to Chad. So every hour on the hour in Las Vegas.
Oh boy, you already did this. I already knew I did this.
Wait.
I can fill in the rest of your sentence. Can I please try and
fill in the rest of it?
The fire show at the Mirage goes off, and the natural gas that lights it smells like pina colada.
Yeah, but we didn't do the pina colada part. I never remember. I
knew this was going to happen. Not only did we do it on the show, we also did it at Game Show Jackpot. So we've done it twice.
I do not remember it being the pina colada part. So
what else would it be?
Maybe you had too many pina coladas at that point.
See, I think the cool thing would be if they could change it like every week, like strawberry daiquiri, and then
that would be cool.
Crown and Coke. I don't know if that one would smell great, but
Sadie.
I was a good guess that I was
Bud Light.
He goes, just wait. I think it's this part's new.
What else could have filled in the rest of that? Every hour on the hour in Vegas, like there's nothing left.
I didn't know that we did the pina colada part
twice.
And Chad, you remembered it?
This is why I wanted you guys to come up with a gas fact for just entertainment value alone. I knew, Teddy, I said it right before. I said, I bet we already did this one. And you picked the one that Chad would remember. The one.
Hey, it was new to me too.
It was not new to Chad.
Fair enough.
Hey, that was a new gas fact to me. I am just
so happy that all the time and energy I put into finding these things and posting them, you guys really dig in and listen to me.
Anyway. They're hard to keep. Can you imagine retaining all the ones that you ask every week?
I know them.
That's because you write them too. And I do remember a lot of them, more than I think I probably should.
Anyways, let's do the real one.
Wait, that wasn't the real one?
No. So the Gas Light and Coke Company, also known as Westminster Gas Light and Coke Company, and the Chartered Gas Light and Coke Company, was a company that was made and supplied coal, gas, and coke. The headquarters of the company were located on Horseferry Road in Westminster, London. It is identified as the original company from which British Gas PLC is descended. Frederick Windsor was behind the creation of the first gas utility, the London-based, as aforementioned, Gas Light and Coke Company, which was incorporated in what year? 1806, 1812, 1889, or 1857?
1857.
18, what was the first? Here we go again. What was the
Here
first
we go
one?
again.
I can't remember. I'm sorry.
It's 4 choices, man. 1806, 1812, 1889, 1857.
What was the second one? 1812.
1953.
I'm going 1812, 1954. 1812.
2022.
The correct answer is 1812. Good job.
Yes.
Yeah, 1912.
You know what's worse about this? So I was at National Fuel Gas last week, and
every hour on the hour they have.
No.
smells exactly.
You said it's
Smells like
Westminster.
Buffalo.
It's Westminster and Coke Company. What is it? What is it, Joe?
Westminster Gas Light and Coke Company.
So they just recently recovered a huge sign that's like concrete sign that says Westminster Gas and Coke Company, Buffalo, New York, at one of their reclamation projects or something. Somewhere they found this huge concrete sign that's now on display in their training center, and they just got it. And that's so funny that I saw it last week and you talked about it this week.
It's probably not the same Westminster, but
yeah, but you said they were all over the place.
That was in the UK.
What did I say? They were all over the place. I feel like sometimes when I talk, you guys just make up your own stuff.
It's what goes in and then it processes. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Ouch. I feel like you jumped a shark.
One always goes in, never come out.
It's like playing the telephone game. It's like playing the telephone game with you two.
Why did you have to do the jump to shark thing today? I think it might be the
ruined everything. So I don't know. So do you know what Coke is? Not Coca-Cola. Do you know what Coke is?
Yeah, it's a byproduct of coal, I believe, that heats up faster. That burns faster or hotter. I'm sorry.
A lot of people don't know that. It's like
it's used in steel, making steel. It's some reason I know that.
I learned that's the real gas fact I learned today, besides the pina colada one.
Pina colada one. It was the third time you learned it.
The big day for you.
It was the first time I learned it. The other 2 times I heard it, apparently.
Big day for you.
Big day for you. All right, we do have guests on the show still, right?
Oh, we do. That's right. So guys, this week we're I feel like I just rolled into that badly. I kind of want to start over. I feel
all right, you want me to do it?
It's up to you. Yeah, sure, if you want.
I don't know anything about their background.
No, we're gonna have Chad. We don't. Yeah, mute Joe so Chad can do it.
I don't want to do it.
So this week we're joined by Danny Fields and Steve Reis. Danny is the president and chairman at Holland Supply, and Steve is the CEO of Holland Supply. Pretty neat story, these guys. What'd you say?
Co-owners.
Yeah, they're co-owners as well, but pretty neat story coming out of the military and going back to grad school and kind of meeting up at grad school and coming up with this crazy idea. It's a pretty neat story to listen to, and you'll hear about some things that they're doing a little bit differently in the industry and trying to break into some new stuff.
Mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Pretty neat stuff.
Why did you say it like that? Why did you say mergers?
Mergers and I don't know.
Yeah.
For the radio and all you.
I'm all thrown off since your awesome gas fact.
All right. So without further ado, our wonderful guests from Holland Supply. Welcome to CFL. Hello, Danny. Hello, Steve. Welcome to Connections for Life. How you doing today, guys?
Doing great.
Doing well. How are you?
I'm stuck with Chad and Joe, but other than that, my life's going well.
We're all right. So, guys, just thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. We know we had a little technical difficulties here, so we apologize. But we'll just kind of start you guys off. And I don't know who wants to go first. We'll go with Danny just because I'm looking at him. Just want to ask how you got into the industry and how you started Holland. I don't know if you guys want to share that responsibility or not, but just a little bit of background about yourselves.
Yeah. So I guess for starters, how I got in the industry, I spent a short career in the military. I spent about 9 years in the Army. And I was in Florida when I was getting out. And as I was getting out, I was asking myself what I wanted to do and where I wanted to live. And like most people leaving the military, I had no idea. And so I did a little bit of research, and I found that Houston was a really great place to to kind of start a new career, especially for transitioning veterans. So kind of took a bet and just on a whim, just moved to Houston, didn't really know anybody there. And once I got there, I started looking for different opportunities. And the one that really stuck with me was an opportunity at GE Oil and Gas, GE Energy. They had a leadership development program, and where over the course of a few years, you could rotate through a few different roles and get exposure to different things. And that really interested me because, again, I didn't really have any idea what I wanted to do after I left the Army and grew up. So found that
I'm 44. I don't even know what I want to do.
Yeah, I'm still working.
You're ahead of me too. So.
I was going to say you left and grew up. I left the Marines. I still haven't grown up.
We know that. We know.
I guess the second part. But I mean, I really enjoyed what I did there, but that was my first exposure into the industry. I got there and I was under the measurement and control division, specifically within the dresser umbrella. So Mason, Nealon, Becker, Mooney, consolidated relief valves. And that's where I got my start and really enjoyed the industry. And I think, coming from a military background where, everything you do day to day, whether you deploy or you're at home training, the energy industry kind of, it connected with me for kind of the same reasons, right? I mean, there's probably no other industry that's closely related to the national interest of the United States more than energy. So that appealed to me. And that's where I got my start though.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Steve, we'll throw that question over to you.
Yeah, sure. Not too different from Danny. I was also in the Army, and when I got out, I found an opportunity working for a company called Intermec Mechanical Services. And at the moment, that company was not doing anything big in natural gas in the US. But while I was there, one of my colleagues and I were asked to start looking at how we could offer our same services that we typically offered upstream to production companies offshore, focused on oil, some gas, but offer those same services in a different part of the energy industry. And in Australia, our company had done a lot of work with the large LNG projects that were getting started up there. And so we transitioned that to US. I don't know if you guys follow this part of it, but before the 2000s, US really worried about if they were going to have enough energy, right?
100%.
So there were these large gasification plants built along the Gulf Coast and some of the East and West Coast areas of the US where basically the idea was we were going to buy natural gas, have it liquefied and shipped to the US, and then regasify it. Well, after lots of the technologies in fracking and other production methods came about, lo and behold, there's more natural gas in the United States than we can even use.
Turn it around.
So those projects that we
For
started
eternity.
working on, so the projects we started chasing and working on were the conversion of many of those plants that were for gasification, reversing the technology to make them liquefaction plants. So then we could then ship that gas to other countries, right? So I worked with one of my colleagues building out a business plan to put that service company together in that part of the market. And that's really where I started focusing a lot on natural gas and getting into the community, learning about the big macro trends, learning about the technology. And that kind of, segued very well when Danny and I ran into Holland. We had a business broker. We had decided to look for a business to buy. A business broker.
I think I don't think you can skip over that part, Steve. Though I think that's part of your whole story too. And I've heard it once, but that part of the story of kind of how you guys came together is kind of cool. Before you even found Holland.
Sure.
So go ahead.
One of you guys tell it, please.
No pressure.
Similar stories there, right? Like we were both working in oil and gas. We didn't know each other at that point, never knew each other before we each had decided to go back to grad school. Went back to grad school while I was working at Intermec and Danny was working at GE, and we met there in a professional MBA program. And kind of realized at that point that we could work well together after the first year of business school. We could work well together. We could debate like crazy without hating each other at the end of it. And that was pretty productive, right? That was helpful to learn that. And then we also realized both of us came from entrepreneurial families. I mean, my grandfather had always been the person in my family who owned his own businesses. And if somebody in the family kind of had a hard financial time, he was able to step in and help them out. And he provided not only that for the family, but he was able to, you know, kind of determine his own future and his own lifestyle more so the way he wanted. Granted, it took him a long time to get there. You know, it was not immediate. This is generations in the making for him to get to that point. But I really appreciated that. And after getting out of the Army, going back to grad school, thought, hey, I've learned a lot. I'm borrowing way too much to get this grad degree. I need to put it to good use. And I appreciated that entrepreneurial path gave you a little bit more of a hand in determining your own future, right?
Absolutely.
I think Danny's story was pretty similar. You want to tell him about your family, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, very similar. I grew up in a very rural town in Indiana, and my parents own a gutter siding and soffit business. It's a small business just outside of Indianapolis, but very similar to what Steve mentioned. I just kind of saw how, my parents were able to take a bet on themselves and have a business and run that business, and how it gave them, financial freedom and life freedom just in general. And that really appealed to me as well. So, when Steve and I kind of stumbled across this idea of, hey, let's go raise some capital and find a business to buy, it just instantly clicked with both of us. And so that's what we did. And we went on a journey to find a small business to buy. And about 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, we were fortunate enough to find Holland Supply, and it just fit with our backgrounds, fit with kind of what we were looking for. Everything was a match. We matched well with the seller, Craig Wathen. So everything just kind of worked out for us.
It's fantastic. It's
Awesome.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I applaud you guys. You kind of walked yourself into the next question is, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you guys do? What does Holland do and the different, I know you touch a lot of different parts of the industry and things like that, but why don't you just fill us in?
Sure. So Holland Supply has been around since 1968, a very long time. It's got its history. It was founded by Earl Wathen. Earl Wathen was an engineer at Columbia Gas. And, through his connections there, he was kind of persuaded to start Holland Supply and become a distributor for Rockwell at the time.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of the origin story of Holland Supply. Earl ran the business for, some time. He didn't really have a desire to hire anybody. It was just kind of a lifestyle business for him. His son, Craig Wathen, who we bought the business from, Craig came into the business and he really grew the business. He took an effort to bring on new employees, add new product lines, and grow the business to what it was, when we stepped in. But Holland Supply, we are generally a value-added reseller of natural gas products to utilities, primarily measurement and pressure regulation. We are the largest stocking distributor of census gas products in North America. So inventory is not a bad word for us. We actually like inventory and keep stuff on the shelf. And aside from the utility market, we also serve the commercial and industrial market as well. But certainly the core of our business is with the utilities.
I know.
Wait a minute. I have a question.
Yeah,
I'm just curious. Do you guys know where the name Holland came from? Holland Supply.
Yes. So that one.
Interesting story there. So
Yeah.
Earl, the story about him deciding to start Holland is more that he loved being an engineer. Okay. And he was told at a certain point in his career, you're going to be a manager now. You're going to be a business manager. And he said, no, I'm not. And they said, yes, you are.
fair enough.
And so he started thinking about what else he could do. Right. And he teamed up or had a conversation with the guy at Rockwell, who for a long time was his sales rep at Rockwell that he worked with. He placed his orders with him. The guy at Rockwell, his name was Harry. So the two start talking and Harry says, Earl, why don't you go ahead and just become a distributor for the technology that we sell you? You can help the utilities do this. You are an engineer. You understand the applications inside and out. You'd probably do a great job. And Earl said, well, the only way I want to do that is if you help me out with it a little bit. So they agreed they would work together to get it off the ground. But the problem was they were both still working for their employers and they didn't want to raise any red flags. So when they chose a company name, they chose Harry's wife's maiden name, which was Holland, right? And they kind of stayed under the radar until they were ready to completely break off and do their own
That's
thing
funny.
without employers knowing what they were up to.
That's crazy. That's it. That's a really cool story. That's why I asked, because
Deception, the mother of invention.
well, I
There you go.
just think that we get in these conversations, like everybody always likes to hear the history of things because no one knows. And it's usually stuff that's, you guys know, and we get asked where did Upsco come from, things like that. It's just always an interesting question. So I didn't mean to jump in there and ask that, but I just thought, it was rattling around in my brain. Steve, I'll ask you, since Danny started the last question. As you guys are, as entrepreneurs and as you've grown, there's probably been a million challenging things that you've had to go through, probably on a weekly, daily basis. I guess for the folks that are watching, like what's been the most challenging part of the journey for you guys up to now, and what advice maybe could you give to people that are kind of thinking the same thing?
Yeah, I think, I'll cover it in two kind of phases here. There was when we were looking for a business to buy, and then there's operating. While we were looking, the toughest part was just getting back on the horse. So we looked at a lot of companies, and we wound up making offers on 10, and we signed agreements or letters of intent for 5. And as you can see, only one of those worked out, right?
Wow.
So
Wow.
four others failed, and we really put everything we had into those other 4. And sometimes we had to walk away from them. Sometimes the sellers.
That's unreal.
Can I ask what was what was one of the reasons, just one reason something like that would fail? Like, is it like, I can only compare it to like buying a house.
Money.
But like you got through the inspection and it failed. Like you what is it? You had a pre-evaluation of the business.
Like you had a pipe
and then
next
you
to your,
went
you
and
had a
checked
pipe next to your toilet that sprung a leak and flooded your basement over
I'm
Christmas.
muting
Like,
Chad now because it's
Sorry.
relevant what he's saying. But like, so what? You got to check the financials, and when you got in the books, it was like, oh, this is not what you're claiming it to be when we were going to buy it. I don't know. What was one example?
That was one right there. Basically, we looked at the top, a high view of the financials. And then when we got into diligence after signing the LOI, it was pretty clear we were not looking at one company. We were looking at 3 companies, totally different operations. And the newest one that wasn't even breaking even was the one that was bringing the top line growth. The other ones were either declining or flat, right? So once we got in there and we saw that, it was pretty clear, like, we're not actually getting what we're paying for. So that was one situation. Another situation, a seller just really got hostile with us, and we started to get red flags. I mean, he got when we started to do financial diligence, he basically told his accountant, stop, his tax accountant in particular, stop, don't share anything more, right? And then he started.
That's not a red flag.
Yeah. Then he started putting a lot of pressure on us to close as soon as possible. And we said, hey, it's not going to work out, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and there was another one where we kind of put a pretty decent deal together, but then the sellers walked on us. So getting back together, just kind of your motivation. And usually our process was like, well, let's just go get a beer and talk about how much this sucks. And then on Monday, we'll get back on the horse, right? So that was the process during searching. The process during operating, I think for us, it isn't even, the funny thing is we bought this business 9 months before COVID. So now for more than 2 years, or for close to more than 2 years, we've been operating under COVID conditions, right? But I wouldn't even necessarily say that was the toughest part. I think the toughest part was Holland is an older business, and we had a lot of legacy employees when we came in, and we needed, if we were going to make this company grow and do some new things, we needed to put some new systems in place. And some of those employees that we inherited, they had planned to retire, and we needed to work through those transitions, because even though you want to refresh some systems and make new investments, what we didn't want to do was lose the core of the business, which is really like technical competency and knowledge about natural gas products. So we had to develop a lot of training programs and get the retiring employees to hand off their knowledge to newer employees.
Pretty neat.
Yeah,
And trust
that's
me, it's
tough.
not just like, as you guys know, these aren't like, hey, here's a calendar, this on this date, this on this date, this on this
Yeah.
date. This person's retiring and they spent 30 years there. It's also a very emotional thing. And we wound up having to very closely get involved in that and have personal conversations and try and keep, keep progress going forward.
Yeah, I gotta imagine that's really challenging. We at Upsco's an older business. We've been around since 1965, and I think a lot of that tribal knowledge, just when you have new people come in, whether it be ownership or even just management, it's really difficult to transition that. We went through that as well, just trying to get them information out of people's heads and onto something that could actually be tangible and trainable.
Heck, we still do sometimes.
Yeah, I completely appreciate how hard that is. So that's well, thanks. I was just curious what your challenges were. Chad, you want to go next?
Yeah, I know, you guys have a bunch of stuff in the pipeline, and I know you do a bunch of stuff, but what's new and exciting? If you can share what you can share it all.
Yeah, so I'll say there's really a couple things. At Holland, late last year, we introduced a new software product, which, within the gas industry is interesting, right? Because anyone who's operated in the gas industry knows that utilities are somewhat slow to adopt new technologies.
No.
Yeah. So this software product is it's done very well in the water space. We worked with a software developer to get it up and basically customized for natural gas utilities. It's called HSC Cloud, and it's meant to move a utility from paper operations to digital operations. So all the same procedural work you do out in the field that you would do on a checklist on a clipboard, it can now be done online. And what that gives you is the ability to audit your data later on, right? You don't have to go look for a filing cabinet to go find that record. It moves to a database that you can then find trend analysis and figure out what's going on with your regulator stations or your leak surveys, or all the normal work that you do out in the field is just digitized. And so, we launched that late last year, and we're pretty excited about it. It's primarily for small to mid-sized utilities, which is where Holland Supply does really well. Of course, we've got a lot of large utilities who we do business with, but they tend to adopt technology much quicker and much sooner than the small and mid-sized utilities. And then, aside from HSC Cloud, more recently, actually last month, we acquired the Census 496 and 143 product lines. And we did that under a different entity. So it's not under the Holland Supply umbrella. It's actually under Utility Solutions Group. But Steve and I are co-owners of that business as well. We're relocating that regulator manufacturing line from DuBois, Pennsylvania to Columbus, Ohio as we speak.
Do you have the space in your facility now?
No, in the current facility.
I didn't think so.
No. So we found another facility just down the road in Worthington. It's about 10 minutes
Okay.
away.
Yeah, it can't be from Lewis Center. Can't be too far.
Yeah, no, it's pretty close. But we're really excited about that. We learned last year that Census was having a hard time getting those regulators out the door. They're already in kind of a difficult hiring market. They're kind of in a rural part of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Layer on top of that COVID and the fact that they're launching some newer products like the residential ultrasonic meter. They had some other priorities and they just weren't able to get the hiring that they needed to do to keep that line up and running. So it was a problem for Holland Supply, obviously, because we sell those regulators.
Sure.
It was a problem for our customers who were coming to us and saying, hey, look, we need these regulators. And so, we had a couple options. We could either, sit still and do nothing and hope it worked out, or what we decided to do is raise our hand and say, hey, look, we'll take a stab at this and we'll get this line
Good for
up.
you. It's awesome.
So,
Oftentimes in life, that's one of the ways that things get done. You find a need and you fill it. And when it's so directly tied to your personal and professional interests, it makes sense that you guys would do that. I guess I'll ask the next
Wait a minute,
question.
really quick, Teddy. I just want to ask you guys, because there's probably a lot of people that are interested, and there are probably a lot of questions around that acquisition and merger and moving equipment. When do you guys feel like you're going to be fully operational, up and running, ready to ship? I assume that that's a priority for you guys. I just wanted to address that.
Yeah, that's the first priority. And we're expecting early in the month of March that we should start producing and shipping.
So still
I was just curious.
I'm in a hotel room. I'm actually in Du Bois, Pennsylvania, where the census.
Oh, great place.
Right now, working through some of the, the equipment relocation.
I think I probably stayed in that hotel where you're at, honestly.
So
There's like one there.
So what you're saying, Steve, is that you drew the short stick and he decided.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, Teddy, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I figured a lot of people would be.
No, that was a great question, Joe. Great question. You have those from time to time. So I just got one more before we get out of here with you guys. With all of the industry experience you've gathered and the trends that you're seeing take place in the marketplace, if you had a crystal ball, where do you see the industry going in the future here?
Yeah, I think there's probably something I can hit on that we've actually talked about a little bit already, and that's it's no secret that in this industry that there is kind of a silver wave of people heading out the door. And it's one thing we already talked about. How do we document that tribal knowledge of people who have spent, decades in this industry and spent a career gathering knowledge and intelligence and, knowing specifically where a leak is in the ground because of they fixed it 20 years ago. And, I think as we start to see more of the older generation leave the industry and we start to see younger generation come into the industry, that knowledge transfer is critically important. So I guess where I'm going with that is I think, the future of the industry is digital. That probably sounds cliche, but I truly believe it. I think it's going to be more digital. It's more online, whether that's purchasing products online. The younger generation tends to prefer that over calling somebody on the phone. So
I prefer
e-commerce. Yeah, e-commerce is part of the future, and I think it's moving operations to a digital platform, which those are the reasons why we're making the decisions we've made here at Holland, right? With HSC Cloud, and then last year launching an e-commerce site. But it's tied directly to that. I think that's kind of where the industry is going.
Awesome.
Steve, we'll give you a crack at that. You got anything you want to hop on with future state?
Yep. I'll take the more dicey part of the future, I guess. And hey, there's clearly a big energy. There's a lot of push and there are a lot of agendas to transition to different types of energy. And I think when I look at the macro picture and you look at the big high level trends, right? First one, I think, is the world consumes more energy each year. You've got two major countries, China and India, that are continuing to industrialize and they don't want to slow down. So energy consumption goes up every year, yet the world is crying out for lower emissions, right? It's really hard to strike that balance, but I think it's very clear in the next couple decades, a quick way that you can cut those emissions in half, literally, right, is use natural gas. You convert a coal-fired power plant to natural gas, it has half the carbon emissions of coal. So it's definitely a bridge to what's next in terms of, are there going to be renewables? Can renewables be financially viable at scale? Those are really big questions. And the big question, I think, is more so the timeline than if it's possible, because I believe it is possible and it's going to happen. Now, I don't know when, and I don't think it's going to be anything earlier than 30 years from now that you actually see renewables at scale. But even beyond that, I think over these next 30 years, we're probably going to find out that all the infrastructure natural gas uses is not only useful for natural gas, but there's a lot of talk about hydrogen right now. There's a lot of talk about biofuels.
Yeah.
And so I think there's going to have to be some innovation. We still talk about gas meters in sizes of 10 light, 20 light, because in the early 1900s and the late 1800s, a 10 light meter could light 10 gas
lights.
down the street, right? Well, I think a lot of the products in the industry have probably turned off really good returns for their owners in multiple owners over multiple decades. But thinking about biofuels and hydrogen and how to repurpose all this infrastructure and not only last the next 30 years, but beyond that, there is going to have to be some more product innovation to see what other energy sources can be used and repurposed with the same kind of pipeline infrastructure, right?
Steve,
Yeah.
I just wanted man, drop the mic. That was so spot on, man. That was pretty. I was sitting here going, man,
That was really aggressive and energetic.
I know, really
It's like
was.
the most energy you've had in like 2 months.
Teddy's usually not got Monday morning energy. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Yeah,
I've
You
been
put the
listening.
goat
It's new.
sweater on, man. Your goat-
I was gonna say that. Thank you.
What'd you say, Steve?
He said you put the goat sweater on.
God over all things. That's right.
I just want to say thanks to you guys. Guys that I didn't know prior to sitting down with you and having these conversations. I'm really excited to see what you guys are doing. I think it's innovating and kind of a different take on an old industry, right? So I'm excited to see what else you guys have planned. I'm sure there's a few things up your sleeves. Steve wouldn't be sitting in a Hampton Inn in Dubois, Pennsylvania if there wasn't. So
I don't know if that's a Hampton or not.
it looks like
It's
it.
like
I
a
don't know. Who
comfort.
cares? It doesn't matter. It's a Candlewood or whatever. But I just want to say thanks, guys. It's good meeting you, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again soon. I don't know if you have anything you want.
No, I just want to say thanks, and I look forward to when we can all maybe get together and come in and see you guys too, especially since I'm so close. Heck, well, not to see you
I'm
anymore.
excited for that. There, I'd like to.
You're never coming to
so
Ohio,
you
Ted,
guys
so.
pick your brain, and
guys.
then we can get rid of Chad.
You're not welcome in Ohio, Ted. I'm sorry.
I've got 2 new friends there. They don't like you.
They don't like you either there.
Okay.
Hey, guys, thank you seriously from the bottom of our heart. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
So,
Thanks for having us. We'll see you again.
Absolutely.
good one, guys.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Guys, we really, really appreciate your attempt of joining us on the show so that we can jump the shark.
That's. I don't know if that made sense though, but
No, it
I
didn't
know what
either,
you
but
meant.
I just wanted to incorporate it into the
We've
outro.
been jumping the shark since episode 1.
it's been a real slow
Steady
jump.
decline.
It was a real slow jump.
It's gradual, but it's
Oh, that's great. Seriously though, guys, I really enjoyed talking to both of you. The interview was awesome. It was insightful. It was great to hear your guys' backstory, and I really appreciate you joining us.
I mean, Chad, I think knew Danny prior or Steve
Just a
prior.
little, yeah.
I didn't. So really interesting to hear what they've done and how they, put their business together. And my phone's ringing. And yeah, I just it's exciting to see where they're going. I think they took a business that was in a good place, and they've done a lot of cool things to it. So it'll be neat to see what Holland Supply looks like in the next 12, 18, 24 months. So
Yeah,
kudos to those guys. Yeah, good job.
absolutely. So now it's time for the new segment that Chad doesn't have a background for, that we've incorporated into our wonderful show to jump the shark. And that is
I wish I
industry.
never taught you that term.
Industry news. I'm gonna
I still don't
misinterpret.
think you get it.
I'm gonna misinterpret it 400,000 times.
Well, we're on 3.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna jump the shark right now with the industry news segment of the show.
This episode should be called Jump the Shark.
We start naming episodes now.
Way too much work.
So I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna discuss a news article that came out in our industry. Okay.
But you do it.
I'm doing it. Joe, why don't you give us a little background on this since you brought it to the table?
Actually, you did.
Not this one.
Well, anyways, so for those of you that don't know, New York is trying to do I don't know the date. It's probably in the article. I should have read it again, but no new gas hookups for New York State. It was originally, I think, going to be just for the city, or was for the city, and now they're trying to expand it to the state. But it's either 2027 or 2030. I don't remember. 2030, I think it is. Yeah, 7%. So anyways, the article's on pencapitalstar.com. If you guys want to check it out, I'm not going to sit and read the whole thing, but essentially the governor of Pennsylvania said, hey, if New York wants to do this and you guys want to take off, we'll hook you up if you want to put your facility in Erie County. So I thought that was interesting. National Fuel Gas has been in Buffalo for, I don't know how long, Ted.
Their entire existence.
Yeah. So a really interesting kind of development here. I don't know. It's a huge, like, maybe, obviously, but it's interesting.
I just thought it was very,
states.
very, very cool of the governor to see the opportunity to offer that and to bring in a utility the size of National Fuel that is unique in so many ways, in that they own their own distribution lines and
Don't we kill the article, or at least
I
scroll
just
up.
yeah.
I think it's interesting that maybe some people don't understand this, but National Fuel already has some roots in Erie as well.
Yeah.
And they have a few service centers there, right? Or just
Yes.
one big.
Yeah.
I've been to the big office there, but that's nowhere near like up
Yeah,
there.
they have locations in Erie, Sharon, Clarence, or Clarion. They have Clarence.
I find it kind of interesting that the decision for that being made is based on the new service thing. And kind of my question that I said even before this was, how do you handle your services that are still active? Because clearly you're going to have to do that. It's not like you can move your whole business to Pennsylvania, I would assume. Sounds good.
I just think it's crazy that they're an imaginary line between, like,
That's a good way to look at it.
a land mass.
dictates what you can and cannot do in the United States. It's really bizarre to me. I know that states have their own rules and laws and regulations, but literally they're imaginary lines drawn on maps that dictate what the law or regulation is for each individual space, and it just seems really arbitrary to me. But it's
Well, I know, obviously we're partial due to the fact that we're in the industry, and, Joe, you and I work directly with National Fuel in a multitude of facets, but like, I just can't believe that that's what's driving like the clean energy and the renewables. That's obviously it, but to mandate stuff again, we're getting to this place in our society where it just doesn't make any kind of sense because it's not feasible. It's not scalable.
It's not even just that. It's the fact that, like, you're taking the opportunity of choice out of people's hands.
Yes.
You're mandating things that aren't efficient,
Yes.
aren't from storage capacity. There's so many things that go along with that. And I don't think that anybody on, like we talked about this last week, I don't think anybody on one side or the other isn't saying, hey, we should try to do new things. But just to put these like hard line date timestamps on things, with unrealistic, I think, timeframes is odd to me. It feels a lot more about what's the term? Virtual signaling? I don't like that term, but it's more like trying to appease rather than be collectively for doing the right thing. I don't know. It just seems really arbitrary to me.
So like in the article it stated, the proposed ban in New York is part of a multi-pronged climate action plan, which includes reaching 70% renewable energy by 2030. So 8 years from now, they want to be at 70% all renewables.
I think right now we're at 12.
Are we even at 12 in New York State?
I don't know New York State. I just know national.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's so to be at 7, to jump there, and then to go 20 years down the road from that in 2050 and have net zero emissions. Like it's the scalability of that. It just doesn't make sense. And the powers that be are the ones dictating this. And it's got to be where are the interests, where of the people.
Not to also overlook the fact that it's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
You have people right now that are struggling, to do whatever, and they don't have the ability to pay 3 times more for electricity.
Yeah.
That's a very, I think,
I remember growing up in my house, we had baseboard electric. My mom's bill in the wintertime was about $500 a month until she started illegally putting kerosene heaters in her house. Yeah, because she couldn't afford the electric bill. Like,
I mean, the other option is nuclear, and I don't disagree with that. But with that comes a lot of issues too. So, again, having it be, it's an issue of it's not a political thing, and that's what people got to stop making this is about. I think they make it political. One group wants to do this, one group wants to do this. That's not the case. It should be what's best for.
Well, there's no across the aisle anymore, and that I think is what's so hard to deal with and the political aspect of it. You used to work across the aisle with one another for what was best for the people. And now I feel like the views of most of our politicians on these kind of hard line items like renewables versus fossil fuels is, if you're not on my side, then you're just wrong.
I feel like there's no aisle. I feel like there's just a huge COVID barrier.
Yes.
Like, hey, over there.
Here's a fun fact. New York accounts for 11% of hydroelectricity net generation, and the state was the third largest producer of hydroelectricity in the nation, behind Washington and Oregon. Obviously, that's because of the falls, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But that's only 11%. That's for, I don't know.
But if you think about
seems
it,
unrealistic.
11% coming from the biggest, no, I don't want to sound like an idiot any more than I normally do, but yeah, 100%. Niagara Falls, biggest hydro generator of electricity in the world, right?
I don't think in the world.
I have to say Hoover Dam would probably be more.
Oh yeah, Hoover.
I don't really know though, but I know it's pretty big. I mean, it's a big producer.
So but that's what I'm saying. So it's you know, in your head, you're like, all right, that's such a huge producer of it. That's Niagara Falls. like where else do you get that kind of production besides maybe the Hoover Dam, like you said? Like there's not too many opportunities to
the Three Georges Dam in China is actually the world's biggest hydro. What's the largest? That's interesting though. I mean, especially in the hydro side.
We're like fourth total in hydroelectric capacity. China, Brazil, Canada, US.
Well, then when you look at the other renewables, you know, when you look at wind and when you look at solar, and you're like, all right. So I personally have installed 2 sets of windmills in upstate New York, one in Cohocton, New York, and then another one in Howard, New York. All right. And there was, you know, mass opposition to the install of them on one side. And then there was a huge support group on the other side of it. And back in my days as an electrician, you know, I had the opportunity to do these. And I also got to track them since we installed them in 2007 and 2011, I want to say. And both of them are massively underproducing the expectations that were put on them when they were installed because of where we live in upstate New York. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And now I've also done a lot of solar panel jobs, and the technology for the solar panel side of things changes so rapidly that, you know, the last electrical job I did was in 2015. Okay.
I think it has to, right? I mean,
100% to increase efficiency, just like everything else. But when you spend massive amounts of money to install the most state-of-the-art electrical solar panels, right? And that they are so outdated by 2021 that they need to be ripped out and replaced, the raw goods, the raw materials, all of those things that comprise them, plus the labor force, plus the expense cost of everything that's associated with them. How is that sustainable for our society? How are we supposed to go to that, all of that?
I just worry about people's jobs and livelihoods too. Like,
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of far-reaching tentacles on this. By the way, guys, 29% of New York's energy generation is from renewables. So you know,
29%.
29%.
And that's in 2020. What year was that from?
It was actually, the last report was 2019 from the.
Okay. So 29% in 2019, and by 2050 they want to be at 0.
100.
Well, 100, yeah, 100.
I think just getting the 70 by 2030 is.
It just doesn't make sense.
How do you do that?
I mean, you know, there's a lot of smarter people doing this than us, but I just think we're not being very realistic, and it scares me that a utility the size of National Fuel that's probably been in Buffalo for 100 years, I'm guessing, I don't know.
Yeah, when they bought up all of the little ones,
could potentially go, all right, maybe this isn't where we need to have our home base anymore. That takes jobs. I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of things there that happen. And for one state, an imaginary line to do one thing, and one state with on the other side of the imaginary line to do another, there's just no cohesion. And I don't know. It just seems really wacky to me. We could beat the horse to death tonight or today, but I think everybody gets the message. Chime in. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, comment. All right. On that note, we'll wrap and make sure you guys leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, click, all of the above.
What about our other article? Don't we have another? Oh, we're not doing that one.
Let's no, we've talked for way too long. We should save
Yeah.
that.
We've decided that we're not doing that.
Fair enough.
We'll get it for next week when Chad is going to be a hydrogen expert.
Shh, you're not supposed to tell anybody.
It's a teaser.
You can't become an expert in. Yeah, I can. That'll be
It's a
fine.
teaser. It's a teaser.
There's
All right,
nothing
guys, we
on
love you. We
that,
thank
so
you.
know.
We'll talk to you very
Hey.
soon. All right.
You guys know that the pina colada shoots out of the. I'm just.
Hey, did you guys know
Every
this?
hour on the hour.
I'm
Every
going to
hour.
drop the shark on my way out of
It's
here.
pina colada out. It's not actually natural gas.